Ibrahim Traore, the giant of Africa, the president of Africa. Did y'all see him in Ghana?
Ibrahim Traore received a lot of love in Ghana. That shocked the entire world. That why are people celebrating a man who's just here to congratulate another head of state that is becoming president?
He pulled the crowd. Everyone was on him. People were really happy. Oh. Listen, you know what? Ibrahim Traore is not only the president of Burkina Faso, okay, but he's the president of Africa. And this is the kind of president that we want. How many countries in Africa we have? 54? Yes, we want a president like Ibrahim Traore. When he's talking, you feel like, okay, the president is talking.
You can also see how popular Mr. President is in Ghana. When he was introduced at the Black Star Square, he got the biggest applause. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right. So when Ibrahim Traore came to Mohammed's inauguration, a lot of people asked a lot of questions. And the one that was being asked the most was that, why was he in his military gear with a pew-pew by his side? So I'm here to give you answers. So first of all, Ibrahim Traore is not a democratically elected president. He is a military ruler. Meaning a lot of these Western powers does not recognize his rule. So any attempt they get, they can arrest him. That's why he always go everywhere with his military personnel. Secondly, Burkina Faso is no longer in ECOWAS. They are now in a new alliance called the Sahel Bloc, made up of Burkina, Niger, and Mali. And all those guys are military rulers. When the previous government was toppled in those countries, ECOWAS banned those three nations. They withdrew, they refused to go back, and they formed their own alliance. And I'm sure you guys knows who control ECOWAS. So anytime they come into an ECOWAS nation, they can tell them to arrest these people. The reason why he went to Russia was because Burkina Faso is a Russian ally in Africa. That was why he was able to go there. So because he's not a democratically elected leader, anywhere he goes, he's always on full alert. That is why he always wears his military gear. The president of Guinea, he was once like Ibrahim Traore, but his wife is a French, and now they are calling him a traditional president. I'll do a video about that later.
For those of you that don't know, the president of Ghana, a new president, was elected in Ghana and he was inaugurated. And of course, one of the delegates that came to congratulate or to witness the inauguration was the president of Burkina Faso, Mr. Ibrahim Traore. Like, I speak about him with a lot of pride, because he is that one African leader that has literally not bent his tail to the whites to please them. And the entire continent, even people outside of Africa, they were like, why do people love this man?
Yesterday, there was a renewed hope when it comes to Africa uniting. You know, for what you guys don't know and what you were not seeing, that there was something happening in Ghana. And the reason why Ghana is important when it comes to this Africa Unite, because spiritually, it's going to take Ghana to start uniting Africans. It's the gateway of Africa. Ghana was the first country that got its independence. Ghana helped other African countries fight for their independence through Kwame Nkrumah. And so Ghana is like this place that is supposed to be Africa's safe haven, right? But in the past few years, it was looking very different under an administration. So guess what? Yesterday, a new president was inaugurated and Ibrahim Traore showed up. That was very, very significant. I don't think he's been to any other ECOWAS country. And it was significant because he doesn't just go anywhere. This guy's life is being targeted. Ibrahim Traore has become like the symbol of freedom for Africans. You should have seen the crowd, how excited they were for him. This is like a renewed hope. The vibe in Ghana is people are relieved, right? Because where former President Akufo-Addo was taking us, in fact, a lot of things were happening that was not in line with Nkrumahism. And, you know, we don't want to come on here and say too much because you get targeted and all that. But you guys know what I'm saying. President Mahama, His Excellency. Oh, today I saw him with his entourage. I said, how did I miss this video? I said, Your Excellency, President Mahama. I saw his entourage and I was like, wow, people are happy, people are very hopeful, and there's life that is coming back into Africans United. He's strengthening his ties with the Sahel, he's strengthening his ties with our African countries, and his speech was awesome. So it's a new day. It's a new day. 2025 is a new day for Africans. Let's fasten our seatbelts, and I'm in for the ride.
My رئيس بوركينا فاسو نايس ماي لوف والله أحبه جدا جدا أحبه بوركينا فاسو رئيس إنه أتابعه جدا أحبه وأحب شخصيته.
Leader John Dramani Mahama. His presidential inauguration was a historic moment. I can tell you that this is a new beginning of not only Ghana but the entire Africa. And there was 5 solid significant historic moments at the inauguration that confirm what I'm telling you. The 2025 presidential inauguration that happened on 7th of January in Ghana. It felt like 1963 at Addis Ababa when Kwame Nkrumah brought all the leaders together. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, was there. William Ruto of Kenya was there. Felix Tshisekedi of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, was there. Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, was also there. So in total, 21 heads of state were present, and the rest sent their vice and representative in response to busy schedule. So in all, the entire Africa was there. So lovely people, let's unveil the 5 historic moments of this particular presidential inauguration. Number 1, it was a moment that brought African leaders together again like never before. Number 2, John Dramani Mahama became the only president sworn in for the 3rd time in Ghana. The rest, first time, second time you go, but this is the 3rd time he was sworn in. Number 3, we now have our first female vice president in the history of this country. And number 4, Captain Traore for the first time shook hands with an ECOWAS member. That is significantly loud. You can see that he comfortably shook hands with the first lady also. This is a sign of trust, people. For the first time, ECOWAS shook hands with AES. You know, he usually give the fist bump. And from the video, you can see Mr. Speaker received the fist bump, but Mahama received a handshake from Traore, a sign of trust and solidarity. Guys, at this point, you need to hit the like button. And number 5, for the first time, ECOWAS together with AES were seen under one umbrella at one particular event. Guys, this is wild. This is a sign of unity. You see, this confirm, or what this simply means is that there is interesting time ahead of us.
When it comes to security, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso doesn't leave anything to chance. Some may call him paranoid, but the captain prefers to think of himself as prepared for every eventuality. His recent visit to Ghana for President John Mahama's inauguration was a masterclass in controlled unpredictability and an unspoken declaration. Trust is a luxury he cannot afford. The inauguration was a spectacle of African prestige, opulent displays, armored convoys, and a security so tight it felt like Fort Knox had relocated to Accra. Heads of state strutted their heavily guarded entourages, flaunting the trappings of power. Yet, none stole the show quite like Traore, who made an entrance straight out of an action movie. Officially, Traore had declined the invitation, opting to send a representative in his stead. Or so everyone thought. Ghanaian protocol officers were in for a shock when the man himself rolled up unannounced. as Ali Naka tweeted on Twitter saying, until early this morning, the protocol team in Ghana had been told President Traore would be represented, only for the man himself to show up. Now, a fleet of black armored land cruisers barreled onto the scene, flanked by heavily armed guards with expressions that could freeze lava. Traore stepped out clad in full Burkinabe military regalia, a pistol holstered conspicuously on his waist, a no-nonsense image that instantly dominated the event's narrative.
This short highlight explained the full speech of John Mahama, the silent punchline he gave to ECOWAS and all the puppet leaders that were present, and even questioned the integrity of their democracy. Hit back at the Western media. Mahama is a good communicator, so he coded the speech. But you just realize, this is era of fact. I got you covered. We will decode everything with few minutes. But you need to support us by liking the video. Just hit the like button, and then if you're not part of the family, subscribe to be part of the family, because it's a happy moment. I can tell you that this is a new beginning of not only Ghana but the entire Africa. The 2025 presidential inauguration that happened on 7th of January in Ghana, it felt like 1963 at Addis Ababa when Kwame Nkrumah brought all the leaders together. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, was there. William Ruto of Kenya was there. Felix Tshisekedi of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, was there. Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, was also there. So in total, 21 heads of state were present, and the rest sent their vice and representative in response to busy schedule. So in all, the entire Africa was there. Now, another cake for you, the speech highlight to clarify things. Where is Ghana standing? Are we standing with the West or the East? This highlight confirm everything.
The world in which Ghana exists today, as I begin this presidency, is not the same world in which we have lived under other presidencies. There are tensions and conflicts that have not previously existed between nations. These tensions and conflicts place pressure on alliances to decide where we will support.
Now notice something. We are already dealing with the West. Mahama will not bring this conversation out if he is not considering otherwise. Now, number two, another clarification about whose side between the East and the West can help our economy. Is it the BRICS or the dollar? The side which is declining economically or the side which is rising economically? This is between the BRICS and dollar conversation. And pulling this conversation out around all the leaders of Africans present is thought-provoking. And to make things clearer, he gave two examples from G7 and BRICS performance. Watch.
There's a seismic shift happening within the system of global economic dominance. Whereas the G7 nations, United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan once provided the highest percentage of the world's GDP, over the last decade, that number has been steadily dropping. However, the combined total of the GDP of the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE, their GDP has been consistently increasing. In 2023, for instance, the G7's combined total of world GDP was 30%. But by 2029, that number is predicted to drop to 27%. In 2023, the BRICS percentage of world GDP was 37.3%. And so what does this mean to us in Ghana? What could it mean to our economy? Where do we fit in this geopolitical maelstrom?
That's right. What this means is that if the G7 is declining and BRICS is rising, we need to go to the winning team. If you got it, lovely people, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Number three, he tackled the media or narrative manipulation. Now, one thing you need to understand is that he pulled this out because he is aware of the media war against our neighbors in the Sahel. And then he answered the question himself by saying that we need to support and work with our brothers.
Technologies such as artificial intelligence has taken us to new heights, opening up the potential for national, financial, and personal security issues that we are not yet able to imagine. One example is the use of misinformation and algorithm manipulations on social media platforms to sway a particular group's sentiments towards or away from something. Now more than ever before, we need to strengthen our ties with our neighbors to ensure that we're working together to keep our sub-region safe. We stand in solidarity and work in alliance with all our neighbors in the sub-region. Recognizing the history of our borders, we also acknowledge that on the other side of our country's borders are our family members. They may be Ivorians, they may be Togolese, they may be Burkinabes, they may be Nigerians or Malians, but they are also Akans, they are Kassinas, they are Guans, they are Ewes, they are Nzemes, they are Hausas, they are Moshis and Gurmes, because we are all part of one another, one big family.
Captain Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, has become one of the most celebrated leaders on the African continent. Since assuming office, he has distinguished himself by rejecting the status quo of dependency on foreign aid and loans. Instead, he has focused on strengthening his nation, championing self-reliance, and pushing back against decades of Western manipulation in African affairs. His courageous approach and commitment to his people have earned him admiration across Africa and beyond. Traore's leadership stands out in an era where many African leaders face criticism for prioritizing external alliances over their citizens' needs. His government has focused on initiatives that directly benefit the people of Burkina Faso, addressing poverty, security challenges, and infrastructural deficits. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has begun to shift from being perceived as a vulnerable nation to a strong, independent state that prioritizes the welfare of its citizens. But his appeal goes far beyond policies. Captain Traore's bold stance against what he views as exploitative Western interference has resonated with many Africans who feel their countries have been subjugated for far too long. In him, they see a leader unafraid to challenge the traditional power dynamics that have left Africa at a disadvantage for centuries. Captain Traore's growing stature was put on full display during the recent inauguration of Ghana's new president, John Dramani Mahama. The ceremony was attended by numerous African heads of state, each invited to step forward and congratulate Mahama while posing for photographs. The atmosphere at the event was formal and subdued as leader after leader approached the new president. However, the moment Captain Traore's name was announced, the scene transformed dramatically. The crowd of thousands erupted into loud cheers and applause. The enthusiasm and love for Traore were palpable, creating a stark contrast with the reserved reception other leaders received. Attendees stood in unison, cheering and chanting his name in a way that left the gathered dignitaries visibly stunned. Even leaders from ECOWAS, some of whom have criticized Traore's leadership, were left awkwardly trying to mask their discomfort. The crowd's reaction was not just a warm welcome, it was an overwhelming declaration of admiration and respect. It sent a powerful message. Captain Ibrahim Traore is a leader who commands the love of the people, not only in his own country but across Africa. The extraordinary reception in Ghana speaks volumes about the reach of Traore's influence. It is rare for citizens of one nation to show such adulation for a foreign leader. If the people of Ghana, who have their own dynamic political landscape, can revere Traore so deeply, one can only imagine the pride and affection felt by the people of Burkina Faso. This admiration is not theoretical. It was evidenced when Captain Traore's transitional government was nearing the end of its mandate. Initially, Traore expressed his willingness to step down and allow the democratic process to take its course. However, this sparked an unprecedented reaction from Burkina Faso's youth. Thousands of young people took to the streets, demanding that Traore remain in power for another decade. The overwhelming public outcry led to a compromise. The constitution was amended to extend Traore's leadership by 5 years. While some citizens were disappointed the extension wasn't longer, they celebrated the decision as a victory, grateful to retain a leader they view as a symbol of hope and progress.
And you can also see how popular Mr. President is in Ghana. When he was introduced at the Black Star Square, He got the biggest applause. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Yes.